Welcome to the ATP Project. You're with your host, Steve and Jeff. G'day, mate.
How are you?
Good, buddy. We're going to be talking about saffron.
Love it.
So the thing I love about saffron, Steve, is it's quite an interesting compound. A lot of people would be thinking probably about rice.
Yeah.
Because obviously saffron is a form of rice.
Yeah.
But there's some really interesting compounds in there. And let's what would you say, de-high-tech it and come back to nature knows best.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, for those who are watching us on video, I've got all these papers around me like a slips cord and then a cricket match. For those who don't follow cricket, it's like there's all these papers around me. And I was just thinking when I was looking at this and going, how am I going to fit all this into the sort of 45-minute thing that we try and aim for? And it's incredible. You could do 45 minutes on this paper, that paper, each individual paper, because there's so many areas that saffron reach. Now to give you a broad stroke, it helps your brain. Real, this is broad stroking.
Yep.
Helps your brain, helps your heart, and helps your penis. I know. Don't look at me like that.
But what happens if you don't have one of those?
Oh, it's good for that as well. It's good if you don't have one of those.
Oh.
But it's particularly good for men.
Really?
Yeah, it's a weird little, I mean, it helps the libido of women slightly, but it very much helps with men.
I did not know this.
And
so that's one aspect of saffron that I did not know. All right, well, let's get to, let's start with the big head first,
Good.
right?
Sure. That big head. Oh, jeez.
Right.
Tell me about that. All right, what? Well, with the head goes back a long way. Now, we go back to
it goes back. I was born with one, actually.
Yeah.
Did you have yours installed later, Steve?
Oh, I sort of meant to go. It goes a long way back in traditional medicine.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah.
We're talking Egypt, Rome, and we're talking Ayurvedic medicine. So what I love about these old, Greek things and all these sort of things where it all came from is they all came up with the same conclusion: is saffron's good for the brain.
Wow.
Individually.
Cool. Yeah, right.
So they weren't connected. Excellent. They weren't connected by AI or internet back then.
It's not like Aristotle went and read Hippocrates.
That's
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
They all came up with it together. Now, for the brain, it's absolutely incredible. There is so much data on the brain. It's quite incredible.
Yeah.
And so I tried to pick a few of the studies and try to sort of ping it down to where it really helps with the brain. And the first place it helps with the brain is with depression.
Right.
Treatment of depression.
Wow.
That's where it's really, really good. Now, even to say so much that in 2018, there was a meta-analysis done on saffron and the brain and depression.
Yeah, wow.
So for those who don't know what a meta-analysis is, it's an analysis of a whole group of randomized controlled trials. Now, what's a randomized controlled trial? It's like we're going to give someone saffron and we're going to give someone a placebo-controlled randomized trial. So, and they randomize them into so that all the people are kind of the same, and they give one lot saffron. The only difference, and now they give a placebo that looks identical, tastes identical, and is identical, except it's not saffron. And they found that all those studies, and there's many, many of them, they found this is a great treatment for depression.
Right. And so we know that the compound, or I know that the compound is saffronicides. How do you is it?
Yeah, saffronicides. That's right.
Right. So Steve,
that's one of the components.
That's one. Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms, did it increase dopamine? Did it help with serotonin? Like what's it doing, Steve?
Yeah. What's it doing? Well, what they did was they compared it with fluoxetine.
Right.
I can't say the brand name.
Brand name. Right, right.
I just said the brand name for those who are thinking, hopefully that's going to be edited out.
That's all right.
So anyway, the fluoxetine is a very common, what they call SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So classically used for depression. Now, what it does is it in your brain, you've got these neurons in your brain, and they're connected with these chemicals. And these chemicals are called neurotransmitters. And one of the key ones for happiness is serotonin.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of interesting scenario about, but we know that, of course, increasing serotonin in the brain makes you feel better. Okay. So they compared this good old saffron with 40 milligrams of fluoxetine. Now, that's a high dose.
How much saffron were they using?
30 milligrams. And you're
Okay.
going to hear me say that a lot today.
Is that the standard? Is that
That's the one.
saffron? What saffron was? Just crushed up saffron powder? Was it
Yeah.
saffron extract? What was it?
It's a saffron extract, a special type of extract.
Yeah.
And we'll get to all that
Okay.
a bit later on. But really, you need 30 milligrams of saffron.
Right.
And that's actually a fair bit of saffron.
Yeah.
Because it's got a hefty price tag, serotonin.
Yes, yes.
Well, we'll talk about the price tag to it. But 30 milligrams is a fair whack. And they compared it against 40 milligrams of fluoxetine.
Wow.
Now, that's 2 tablets, standard tablets. Most people just take 1. And they found it equally as good. Equally as good.
Wow. And I
No
bet you
difference.
with none of the side effects.
None of the side effects.
Well, what are some of the side effects of fluoxetine?
It's a great question you asked that, because one of them is impotence.
Wow.
Yes.
And that we know from what you said, your prelude before, Steve-O, is that this actually helps with the little guy.
The little guy. Well, it's not so little. Well, it is in my case.
I'm not even going to try and pretend.
Yeah, look, there was. Now, what we know about this one is that there's also, you're going to love this, a systemic review done on sexual dysfunction in men and women with saffron. So there's a lot of studies on using saffron for your male genitalia. I'm trying to think of a way that we... Now, dosages, very, very boring. They used, and I'm going to run through the 3 double-blind placebo-controlled trials here.
Yes.
One, they used 30 milligrams. The second one, they used 30 milligrams. And guess what they used for the third one?
30.
30 milligrams. And they found that all of them had positive effects with no side effects.
I don't understand. If they did 3 trials, or you're talking about 3 patients, each with 30
No,
milligrams?
3 different randomized controlled trials.
Are these done by the same people, or these are different studies?
Different researchers.
Oh, okay. So they've all picked that 30 milligrams
Yep.
and gone, we think this is what is going to be active against the placebo. So 3 different studies
Yep.
done by independently,
Yep.
and they tested they each selected 30 milligrams.
Yep, and they had a beneficial impact on total erectile scores, and there were no side effects. So it's great to show that this is fantastic for treating depression.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it probably make you happy on the other end as well.
It
But
does.
in terms of, so what actually happened when people took it? So was this with the placebo-controlled studies for enhancing sexual performance? Was it talking about erectile dysfunction? Was it talking about not being able to perform?
Yeah,
Right.
and they term erectile dysfunction, and it's categorized into 2 areas: not being able to get, and I'm going to be a little bit graphic
Sure,
here,
an erection.
not being able to get an erection, or not being able to finish,
Yeah.
or you finish too early.
Right.
They're the 3 main areas of erectile dysfunction.
Right. Yep.
And it improved all 3.
Wow.
Yeah. They found that the people using saffron, and this was again the 30 milligram dose once a day.
Yep.
They found that they had greater satisfaction, they felt better, and they performed better.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's terrific. So you got to remember, like, antidepressants are really common. They are really commonly used throughout Australia. They're very common, and fluoxetine, which is the one they compare, the most common side effect of that in men is sexual dysfunction. In women, it causes lack of desire. So we will call that sexual dysfunction as well. It smashes your libido.
It couldn't be anything to do with your ugly face.
No,
No.
not my fucking face. No, unfortunately, in my aging body.
Yeah.
But I mean, as we
Your
get
Ren
older,
and Stimpy, huge pectoral muscles.
shh, look at pectoral muscles. I got shit pecs.
Oh.
I got crappy. I'm not very good on the bench. I know, it's terrible. I can only do about 80 kilos.
What?
I know.
No, it's pretty good, Steve.
No, it's not bad for an old folk. I'm 80 kilograms my weight.
Well, that's pretty decent.
I can bench my body weight.
Yep.
There you go. So, but look, if you're on an antidepressant, I mean, don't go off it. You need to talk to your doctor if you're having side effects, and, you need to look at that. But this is a possible replacement, again, if your doctor agrees with this. We don't want to give specific advice.
Sure.
But the studies show they're equally as effective.
Okay. And that
So-
was just 30 milligrams a day?
30 milligrams a day.
Wow.
So, and again,
Did it matter what time of day you took it?
no, it didn't.
What about for the sexual performance issues?
It didn't matter.
Didn't
what time
matter.
I took it, no.
Just like 12 hours before.
No, any time before, because the saffron hangs around the body for a fair bit of time because it's got fat-soluble carotenoids. Yeah. I'll get to all the chemistry of it later. But basically, it hangs around the body a fair bit of time.
Right.
And being fat soluble, it crosses the blood-brain barrier because fat soluble stuff gets into the brain, which is mainly fat.
Cool.
So it really works in the brain dramatically.
Wow.
So this is a carotenoid like beta carotene, like the stuff in carrots, the orange stuff.
Yep.
So, but it's just a special type and works really well. So very good for the brain, and it works as an SSRI. So it works like Prozac, but doesn't have those side effects of causing impotence and causing erectile dysfunction.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, I love it.
It's doing one and the other, not one
Exactly.
at the cost of the other.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because, if you're on fluoxetine, an antidepressant, an SSRI, and they're all the same sort of classes, they all have that unfortunate side effect.
A friend of mine was on one, and he said he was so disinterested in intimacy. It was ridiculous. He thought it was actually repulsive.
Yeah.
That's what he said to me. He said the thought of it actually repulsed him.
Yeah, and that would be probably, unless he's got a severe disorder. Like if you've got an eating disorder, you need 60 to 80 milligrams, but most depression's 20.
Yeah.
So mental health is 20. And
I had a feeling he was using lithium or something like that, actually, Steve-O.
Lithium's another mineral used for treatment of typically bipolar depression.
Yes, that's what he had.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So bipolar is when you have your massive depressions.
And then you get your manic highs.
Manic highs.
Yeah.
And that's very common.
Yeah.
And lithium stabilizes the neural networks in the brain.
Right.
You remember lithium is a mineral.
Yeah, mineral deficiency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lithium was used in supplements and may still be in America. In fact, you can still get lithium from the shop in America.
Really?
Yeah, 1 and 5 milligram doses.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I heard that it's actually becoming rarer and rarer as we're using in a lot of our batteries for EVs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's great to charge your mobile phone battery. Mine's downstairs, but yours over there. You got a pile of lithium there. Oh my goodness!
To just lick that.
Lick that.
Feel better about myself.
Don't lick batteries for those who are listening.
No, we're joking.
Now, do you remember as a kid putting the 9-volt batteries
9-volt, and the tingle. Yeah. Still makes my tongue feel weird.
I can still feel it.
Yeah, same.
It's like, is this one? Oh, yeah, that one's good. And you do that.
It's funny. You want to see Tony pull a face? Just tell her to lick a paddle pop stick. She'll be like, just even saying it.
Do you remember those paddle pop sticks you had to collect to get a TV?
I do.
And I remember I always could only get 3 because that was
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I buy coffee every morning.
Yeah.
And I switched from one coffee shop to the Big M coffee shop, to try and win. Man, I got 2 out of 3 on everything.
Yeah, everything.
Not Park Lane. I was trying to get Mayfair, or I had Mayfair, I was trying to get Park Lane. It's just like, no, nothing.
So let's say you're going to eat your jelly beans.
I'm not going to anymore.
Okay, all right. There's people out there that still eat all the paddle pops like I used to.
Sure.
And what it does is, of course, increases sugar in your blood.
Yep.
Sugar increases insulin. Insulin gets all your amino acids and pushes them into your muscles because it's a great growth hormone, right?
Yeah. Insulin is more anabolic even than testosterone.
Oh, yeah.
But anabolic could be not the anabolic muscle, it could be the anabolism of fat,
yes,
which is not good. And typically, if you're sitting on the couch eating jelly beans and donuts and stuff like that, then you're anabolic. You're just fat anabolic.
You're fat anabolic. And all the amino acids, except for one, is going to go into your muscles.
Tryptophan?
Correct.
Yes.
And so you got this massive amount of tryptophan left in your blood, and guess where it goes?
Makes you feel good.
It goes in your brain.
That's why you like comfort eating.
Yes. They even call it comfort food.
They do.
You heard that?
Yeah, you've broken up with your girlfriend or boyfriend or something like that, and you're sitting there on a couch.
It's one or the other.
I mean, Matt wants to date the AI. I mean, she was an attractive-looking AI.
She was a
pretty looking girl.
I thought it was a girl.
She wanted to date us and then kill us. Just keep that in mind. That's kind of worth probably. Yeah, she was pretty hot.
But if I was having problems with my relations with Beck, Saffron would be a good option.
It would be, rather than dating an AI that will maybe one day want to kill you.
Well, yeah, Beck wants to kill me sometimes.
Yeah.
We have the
but she would go to jail, whereas AI could just disappear into the cloud.
The weird thing about into the cloud, literally.
Yeah.
It really is incredible the way. I mean, when you talk about AI, I mean, if I was an AI machine now, I wouldn't have all these papers in front of me because I'd just memorize them. I'd know them.
And this is what Elon's saying as well too. If we actually sync effectively, they're putting in now, and they've got this, and Elon Musk, I think, wants to buy this company. I can't remember how much, $60 million or something like that. And they've put stents into the brain that allows people to order things on Amazon right now. They can actually do it just by thinking about it.
Our videographer would love that.
Yeah, he's going to put
Amazon
stints in other places too, right? So yeah, just think about it. Happy days, Matt. You disgust me. Yeah, I think Matt's all for the killer robots. He's like, but she's hot, but she may kill me. Yeah, but she's hot. Yeah, so it's like, she was good on pretty. You, Matt. Anyway, back to Saffron. See, that's
Saffron. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, where are we going? So Saffron is particularly good for your brain. Now, yes, it's great for depression, and yes, it's great for your old fella. But how else do we put that? I can't think of anything. But it's also
wife's best friend, one-eyed trouser snake.
I'm gonna
dingle, dangle, dongle, Stanley Power Tools. I mean, like
me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read a title of a paper that was published 2016. This is a bit of a game changer, this one. Okay, good for your brain, but it's also ergogenic. And people go, what's ergogenic mean? It means you work out harder and you get more action, okay? Not that action.
Right.
You get more muscle action.
Yep.
Now, this paper found that it actually increases the biogenesis of some of the mitochondria in the muscles. Now, what does that mean?
Yes.
You get more mitochondria, more energy in your muscles. I know. Incredible stuff.
But does it just affect working muscles, Steve, or all muscles?
This was all muscles if you take it orally.
So if it increases biogenesis, effectively it would have what?
Yep.
So ultimately, you're stronger, you can lift more, you're recruiting more muscle fiber, you're improving nitric oxide, you're stimulating satellite cells.
Okay. Well, they measured your force strength, after taking 10 days of saffron supplementation and increased it by 10.1%.
Get out.
I know. Now, you remember peppermint?
I remember peppermint.
That increases grip strength by 36%, but this is force.
Would it work synergistically?
Yes, it absolutely will work synergistically.
Because I love this compound and I use this compound. Yeah. I'm not mentioning any products.
Yes, I know.
But I had no idea it actually did that.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it? But it gets better. Okay, so you want to be stronger. What else do you want to be? Faster.
Oh, you jumped in too quick, Steve. I've got a very long list. But anyway, yes, I do want to be faster, yes.
Yeah, you want to be stronger and faster. You want to be
sprinter.
fast.
I want to be able to run up that wing when I'm playing football and just destroy the opposition.
Exactly. So, but you want to be able to, like, if a defender's coming at you, you want to react faster.
Yep.
Visually.
Yep.
Okay. You know that Saffron does that as well.
Reflexes?
Yep. Faster visual and audio reaction times.
Wow. So for a sprinter on the line and the gun goes off, you want this compound.
Oh, yeah, because you'll hear the gun and you react faster.
Wow.
And you'll see, you won't see anything, but
no, there's no defenders in a 100-metre race, Steve. That would be interesting. Actually, we should do that.
But the good thing is, imagine if you're an athlete and you take Saffron, you're going to be stronger and you're going to be able to react faster.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what.
Reaction times are massive for any athlete, especially any contact sport. Yep. I mean, even baseball, being able to hit the fastball. Yep. Basketball, being able to see that gap, that split decision. Wow. That's cool.
Yep, significantly faster after 10 days of Saffron.
After 10 days. How much faster did it say?
Yeah. It'd be increased by, it doesn't sound very fast.
Percentage.
0.2 of a second.
No, that's massive.
Yeah, I know.
0.2, 200.
Yep.
No, that's times, huge. That is huge.
0.217 for the audio and
0.217.
Yeah, 0.217.
Wow.
So it's like a quarter of a second.
No, that is massive.
It is massive. Yeah. And it also may contribute to the increase of muscle mitochondrial biogenesis.
Steve, did it talk about it in terms of a percentage increase? Because typically, if you're on the, let's say you're on the 100 meters and you're ready to go.
Yep.
And you're focused on that gun.
Yep.
Typically, I mean, and it's funny because I know like world-class sprinters, like their reaction times are like ridiculous. But what would be interesting to see is what improvement it made. Because 0.2, that would be like, I reckon, at a guess, that would be nearing 100% improvement.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was quite, I'm just getting to the percentages.
Come on, Steve.
Here we go. All right, so reaction times.
I mean, even a 10% increase for an Olympic athlete is unbelievable. Mind you, these wouldn't be Olympic athletes because there's no way they can improve by 0.2.
Okay.
What?
So we've got to do I need a mathematical calculation here,
if
mate.
only we had AI chips in our brains. Where is that sexy AI? Bring it back up and ask her a
This will
question.
give you a
mate.
percentage. If you get, I'll convert it, 299. Oh,
299.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hang on.
I'm gonna work
So the
out
reaction
percentage.
time beforehand was 0.299?
well, this was visual reaction times and sound reaction time.
Right.
So I'm just going to
2.99 milliseconds.
3.51. Okay. No, that's not right.
80%.
No, it's. I've just got to actually clear that. I've mathematically added it up wrong. So 351 minus 299.
A few moments later.
Yes, divided by 3.51. Percentage-wise, it increases it by 14%.
Massive.
Yeah, 14.8%. So
That's
say
huge.
15%.
That's massive. And
That's
especially
visual.
depending on the level of athlete
Yep.
that you're talking about as well
Yep.
too. I mean, if you're talking elite athlete,
Yep.
if it's 14%, we'd sell out of the stuff tomorrow. If it's a recreational user, I mean, again, it would be interesting to see who was the age of the people that they were doing. 19. 19-year-olds.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, come on. I mean, 19-year-olds are going to have pretty fantastic synapses and everything. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're talking 90-year-olds, right? Where the base
it's
level would be quite
absolutely
low.
incredible. 15%.
That's
so
massive.
14.8, but 15%, and
We'll
that's
round
visual
up.
reaction time.
Wow.
It gets better. Now this didn't reach clinical significance. Oh, yes, it did reach clinical significance. Wow.
Are you talking about the p-value?
No. Yeah. I'm talking about the p-value. The p-value for this measurement was, did it increase muscle size? Okay. So they gave it to these people. They went to the gym. They worked out their quadriceps in this particular case.
Yep.
Okay. Now the cross section of the quadricep of the control group ended up being 52.6. Of the Saffron group was 55.6.
Wow.
So it increased cross-sectional area of the muscle.
Wow.
Yeah. So how did it now?
I actually went to gym the other day and I actually thought, considering how little I train, I actually look pretty good. Thanks, Steve. You know what?
What was I drinking? Bloody
bloody hell. It's
Oh, that's terrible.
hey, everybody, look how good I look.
By the way, do you notice the colour of that?
Interesting colour, Steve.
Yeah.
Say no more.
All right, I'll say no more.
Yeah.
I won't
Nudge, nudge,
say.
wink, wink.
Yeah, I won't tell you what's in that drink. Can I? Is
No,
that
you
illegal?
can't. Yes, it is illegal.
No, I can't. Oh, damn. All right. Anyway, back to Saffron.
Okay.
So it increased 15% reaction time. It increased the size of the muscle cross-sectional area significantly, which is 3 centimetres, obviously.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. That's the p-value of 0.02, so pretty good.
0.02.
Yeah.
0.02.
And it increases the biogenesis, in other words, the growth of new mitochondria in the muscle.
Steve, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Why isn't everybody using this compound? Well, I'll tell you why. I mean, we've still got more?
No, yeah,
Because I'll
there's-
leave the reason why people will not utilize this compound. But have we still got more?
No,
We'll
yeah.
okay, then what we'll do
I'll-
is we'll leave that to the end.
All right.
All right?
All right. Yeah.
Because there is
And then we'll
a
sum it up.
negative about this product, Steve.
I know there
big
is.
negative.
Big negative.
All right,
about
let's
this
go.
product.
So
So
we'll
you
get
better
to the
listen
negative.
till the end. I want to give you one more positive though. One more real positive. Okay, so it's great for your reaction
You've got to
time.
remember to summarize this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. This is all got a bit of a theme to it, this one. So it's good for your brain.
Yep.
Really good for your brain.
Yep.
Really good for your downstairs department.
Yeah.
And it is very, very good for
Muscle, performance, reaction time. So you're going to feel good. You're gonna perform better.
Yep.
You're gonna be faster.
Yep.
You're gonna build more muscle tissue.
Yep.
You're gonna perform better in the bedroom, and it doesn't really matter when you take it.
No, that's soluble. It's great for your heart and cardiovascular system as well.
That's interesting.
I
Steve.
know. Now, there's 5 areas of cardiovascular health you want to help. There's 5 areas. The first one is that you want antioxidants to stop LDL, the bad cholesterol, being oxidized.
Yep.
You want it to be anti-inflammatory because inflammation drives the rupturing of the plaque inside your coronary arteries.
Yeah, that's where the aorta typically phrase, right? And
that can be one of them.
Yeah.
And you don't want apoptosis, which is cellular death of the heart, do you?
No. You want to
reduce...
Which is cell tissue death, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And you want to reduce your blood pressure because most people have higher blood pressure because pressure puts on the arteries is bad.
Yep.
And you also want to reduce your bad lipids.
Yep.
Okay? So there's 5 areas. Now, this is a bit of a loaded question, but guess which one of those areas Saffron works?
All of them.
All of them.
That's the AI chick coming to kill you now. She's like, humans must not live forever. This sounds pretty incredible, Steve.
Now, we'll put up the graphic on me, but I'll show you the graph. Look at all the arrows where there's 5 areas there.
Steve, why is not every single person? You know what? This is way better than I thought. I actually thought that the best podcast that we had done on an ingredient was the Gynostemma.
Yeah.
I've got to say now that I think the Saffron is probably now neck and neck with the Gynostemma for probably herb of the century, herb of the millennia.
It's really, really good. So this paper that I'm quoting,
it's incredible, really.
It really is incredible.
I didn't actually know.
All right.
I mean, I think I'm reasonably smart.
Yeah.
But I'm actually pretty stupid, Steve, where it comes to Saffron because I had no idea just how good it was.
You don't need to know all this sort of stuff. You just need to take the stuff.
You need to know it, Steve.
Yeah. So basically, this was a paper published called Saffron, an updated review of the biological properties with special focus on cardiovascular effects, 2019 paper, published in Biomedicine and Pharmacotherapy. And the beautiful thing about that paper is that's a real nerdy paper. That's where all the drugs are in there. So this is, Saffron's made that paper. And what I love about it is that it actually covers off 5 different drugs.
Wow.
Because it does 5 different areas.
And in comparison, though, Steve, how well does it work? Because, I mean, you say it might help with, obviously, hypertension, but how much does it help? I mean, is it just a sort of a supporting thing or is it a significant impact? I mean, I guess against the 5 things.
Yeah, it did find that it did have, like, when they say p-values, everyone knows what that is?
Yeah.
P-values were all less than 0.05 for all of those 5 areas.
Wow. So the lower the number, the better.
Yeah.
So the more impactful, I guess.
Yeah, the more significant, they say. So it significantly impacted all of those areas.
Wow.
So it reduced blood pressure significantly. It reduces the cholesterol levels significantly. And all that sort of thing. It reduced, in this case, ORAC, which is the oxidative thing, significantly. So it was all significant.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I mean, just if we go over what we've done here, I mean, it's great for your brain. You'll feel better on this stuff. So let's say you take it. It's going to help your brain.
Yep.
It's going to help you in the bedroom with your wife, girlfriend.
Going to help your reaction time.
Yep, help your reaction time.
Come to the bedroom, sweetheart.
Yeah, you'll be
there.
But it won't help react that. It won't make that quicker.
No, not that reaction time.
No, not that
But you'll
one.
just be there faster. It'll be like on the 100-meter line.
You'll arrive faster. You won't come faster.
What is it?
Can I say that?
No, you can. But who's that show with the cable guy? Come on,
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He sits there and he goes, oh, his clothes come up. You'll be like that.
It'll be like that.
Yeah.
You'll react quicker in that way.
Yeah.
But not the other way.
No. The good way, not the bad way.
That's right.
Yeah, more muscle. You'll feel better.
You'll be able to have sex longer because you'll be fitter.
You really do focus on that quite a lot, Steve. But you're going to be able to train for longer.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to build more muscle tissue.
Yep.
You're going to be looking after your heart, your cholesterol.
Yep.
What were the other things that you said?
More energy, biogenesis, the mitochondria.
Crazy.
There is a catch to all this sort of stuff. They use one dose, and I've said it before,
30
milligrams, which is, what's a problem with taking 30 milligrams?
Well, hang on. Are we at the end?
We're at the end, basically, of the reasons why you should take this.
So there's so many reasons, as we've just said, as to what's good.
What's the catch?
There's always the piper to pay.
What's the piper to pay?
And the piper to pay is this stuff is $3,000 a kilo plus and going up.
Yeah.
It is incredibly expensive. Yeah. And like anything, typically, and this is where I don't know of any other company. I really don't. And mind you, I don't do a lot of research into what other companies are doing. It's freaking expensive. And certainly, I can't really say too much, but $3,000 a kilo plus, like anything, and this happened with ginseng as well too. What's the most expensive ginseng?
Panax. Yeah.
The amount of counterfeits out there, I would imagine, if this catches on as a bit of a craze, it'd be nice if it did, because obviously then more people would farm it and there would be more competition and the price would come down.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I don't think it's widely used, certainly not in OTC products.
No.
Because it's cost prohibitive. Realistically, it's ridiculous. And it's unfortunate because, it's such a great compound, but it's just so expensive. And especially in Australia, if you're putting it in said products, you can't really market it.
You can't say what it's for.
No.
There is a practitioner-only product, I won't mention any brands or anything, that have it at 15 milligrams a capsule. So you have to give 2 of them. Yeah. But a lot of, you really want that 30. That's the magic. So if you're taking it, ask the company how much is in there, or read the label, or read the website, whatever. It's got to be 30. I mean, 15 will still do something, maybe. You don't know. But all these studies are on 30, from the heart to the muscles to everything. You know,
Yep.
it's just that.
And you can imagine around 30 if you're feeling dirty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the
Sorry,
good news is
that's
there's been other studies.
Who would think that I'm in marketing? Anyway.
Now, the good news, another good
30
news
and
about
flirty?
this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's better. That's
30
more
and
PG.
flirty. I'm
Yeah.
53 and not flirty. Maybe I need some of this stuff.
You disgust me, Steve. Actually, you disgust everyone.
I do.
Yeah. Sorry.
But Beck loves me.
Yeah.
Beck loves me.
Yeah.
And my cat, flat face.
Yeah.
But look, this stuff, very expensive. Now, there has been some studies where they've used higher amounts, so it shows it's safer.
But is there a peak? You know what I mean? Like we always say, more is not always better.
Yeah.
Worst is that it could actually have a negative effect. But I'm not saying that about saffron, by the way.
It didn't have a negative effect.
But if it's such an expensive compound, you don't want to be throwing your money away, right?
Exactly.
So you want to find that again, apex point, that maximum, the maximum. The minimum effective dose. That's what I mean.
Exactly.
Like for the minimum for the max. Min-max.
There was an older study in 2009 where they gave men 200 milligrams of saffron a day. So that was the highest dose I found.
Yeah.
And it did help with their erectile dysfunction.
But greater than the 30 milligrams?
30 was still significantly
There you
better. So that's why the good news about that study.
Well, hang on, 30 was better than nothing, but was it in comparison to the 200 milligrams?
Same as 200.
So, right. So there's no advantage.
There was no advantage of taking that, and there are disadvantages because you just simply go broke. I mean, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And therefore it'd be cost prohibitive. And that was only on 20 people. But what it did show was that it was safe at that dose. You know, if you took that much of, say, fluoxetine, you would be in big trouble.
Right.
Which was that antidepressant we talked about earlier, because it does have significant side effects above 80. It's quite bad.
Yeah.
So we know it's, and also saffron's, put on food and rice, and you don't, weigh it out.
Yeah.
So you can have quite a high dose.
Well, do you know what you do get in food like saffron and rice, Steve? Do you know how much you're getting? How much is it?
It is about 50 milligrams, depending if you have a whole meal of it.
50 milligrams?
Yeah.
Wow. So you're getting more than a dose in saffron rice if you have, and by a whole meal of it, you're talking like what, 200 grams of rice?
Yeah, 200 grams it was. So you are getting a fair bit with rice, but that's very expensive.
I feel like doing that peppy stare when I sort of just nail it like that.
Yeah, because I think it was 200 was most of the serves they measured.
So most people would, I shouldn't say most people would eat. Yeah, I think that would be a kind of a standard sort of
standard serve.
How much you'd have?
Yeah, the problem is like this and most other herbs is we should be putting it in our diet, but we're not.
No, who eats saffron rice? I mean, mind you, in terms of saffron rice, probably it's a better rice because it's actually low GI, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good as basmati. I always get basmati and saffron mixed up, but most people are probably having basmati rice.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can, get some saffron rice.
Yeah. And
add that into your diet.
And you can put, because you only need a tiny amount. The taste, it tastes, got a nice taste to it. So you can put it in smoothies if you want to. I'm just thinking it becomes quite.
What is saffron, Steve? It's because we actually got some from Iran. One of the girls here comes from Iran. She actually bought us back some saffron.
Well, that's where
and
it comes
typically
from.
we put it into our rice.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So in terms of like, if you cook with real saffron, bloody good for you.
Very good for you. Because it's carotenoids too, you don't want to overheat it. So that's why.
Actually, if a lot of it comes from Iran, there's a bit of upset over there at the moment. That means that saffron could become more expensive.
Geez, I don't want to. I mean, this stuff's great. This stuff is really good. I mean, the studies on erections are all done in Iran.
You keep coming back to these erections, Steve.
Oh, look.
They're all done in where? Iraq?
They're all in Iran.
They're all done in Iran?
Yeah, the erection ones. I must have something going on over there. Look at his face. They just have a propensity to maybe need it over there or whatever. Don't know.
I'm staying away from that one altogether. So, Steve, what's interesting though is that
What I find interesting,
I'm sort of a bit speechless, to be honest.
it's an amazing. What I find interesting is that even back in the Rome and Egypt days, it was used for male. They called
Performance.
it sexual instinct. Was the terms they used?
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's very good for your brain, makes you feel good, and helps with your downstairs. So combined effect, it gives you more sexual instinct. Was
Wow.
the words they used. I know.
It's kind of cool, right?
Kind of cool. I mean, it's also very good in the old days to relieve depression. There you go. It's very good for preventing inflammation. Now we know that now because of the studies, but also promoting sedation, promoting appetite, treating cough, stimulate menstrual flow, combat flatulence. So it's very good for
Need that.
Yeah, it's very good for your gut as well, because traditionally it's been used for that.
Right.
So I mean, it's got a lot
Treat
of good
flatulence.
Yeah,
Maybe we can give it to the cows in New Zealand so they don't have to tax them so much.
that's right. That'll save money.
And the cows would be super happy
They'll be happy.
and
They'll
not
have more sex.
not farting.
Yeah, they'll be able to make more cows. So pretty cool, isn't it?
It is very cool.
What an amazing herb, though. I mean,
is.
why isn't everyone on it? Just the price.
Bear price.
Yeah, it's a bad one. I mean, for price, but yeah, it's so good for your brain and your body. Really is, your heart, everything. I won't go back to the. No, I won't mention that again. I think we've covered that area.
You covered that extremely well, Steve.
The main
Very
thing,
thoroughly.
the main thing you'll find this used for is depression.
Yeah.
And performance before a gym
Well,
workout.
definitely, I think for performance, yeah, it's a good one. Well, anything else, Steve?
Nah, this is little the studies.
Very interesting compound. As I said, right now, two favourite herbs, Gynostemma and Saffron, are right up the top of my tree in terms of go-to herbs that are cool, that are different, that are going to help your performance, that are going to help with, Gynostemma. Go back and listen to the Gynostemma podcast because it's a cracker.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this one on Saffron. Steve, I love these herb ones. I love finding out about the science behind it. Now that, and this is where I love the ancient remedies, which is based on folklore and thousands of years or hundreds of years, if you like, of trial and error and observable anecdotal science. But then now when we measure it against understanding the compounds that are in there, we've got double-blind placebo-controlled studies. We've got various studies, so there's effectively like almost a meta-analysis going on here. So we've got the ability to actually just look beyond folklore, and I'm not dismissing folklore or folk medicine, because I mean it's kind of based on truth, but we can actually drill down into the science, which is what we're all about, Steve.
Oh, we are, and as I said, if you're watching this on video, you'll see all these papers around me. I didn't print them myself. This one is a meta-analysis for the brain.
Beautiful,
incredible,
good one.
Another meta-analysis there. A meta-analysis there for the thing we can't mention.
No, which you mention a lot.
And review on the heart. I mean, look at the heart. Just forget all this stuff with the brain and penis. The heart.
No, it's hard for you to forget that, Steve, because you keep bringing it up.
I'm 50. But I mean, it's just incredible. It covers the 5 modes of action to help give you a healthy heart. I mean, why wouldn't you just take it for that?
Warms the cockles of my... Steve, I had to ask you, where exactly are the cockles? Where are my cockles in my heart?
That's right. It's an old term, isn't it?
It is.
I'm going to have to look that one up. Because cockles.
You know where the cockles? You know it warms the cockles of my heart?
I know.
But we're anatomically, where are my cockles?
There are no cockles in your heart as far as I know. In fact, your heart's empty. It's only got chambers.
Your heart's empty.
Well, it is.
My heart's full of love.
Oh, that's right.
Cold man, Steve.
You got 4 chambers of the heart, don't you? And they're not empty. They're full of blood, and they're pumping the blood around the body. Well, the left ventricle pumps the blood around the body. The atriums just take the blood in. One from the lungs and one from the body.
Nice one, Steve.
Yeah, that's how the heart works. 4 chambers.
Okay, guys, we've got your questions. Steve-O.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
This is good. Okay, so again, just to protect anonymity and to make sure that we're doing everything right, we're not going to read out any names or handles or anything like on here. Right. But please, if we're reading out your question and you know that it's you, jump onto our live chat or give us an email at info@ATP Science and say, hey, that was me that they read out, and we're going to send you out something lovely for your trouble.
Cool.
Okay. I'd love to see a discussion on recovering from intestinal permeability, a more in-depth look at repairing the gut barrier once damaged to the point of major symptoms. Additionally, great episode. Have always been curious about cryo-freezing locally. Assumed it was a scam, to be honest. So, Stevo, over to you.
All right, we'll talk about the bowels first.
Sure.
Now, intestinal permeability was a thing that even up until quite recently, people thought was like a weird thing that didn't really happen in the body. Firstly, it does happen. If you get dysbiosis in the gut microbiome, it can irritate the gut and cause leaking across the M cells and all the other cells in the gut, and you get leaking into the body of things you don't want to leak in the body. You want to absorb some things from the bowel, but you want it to be regulated. Leaky gut syndrome, you lose that regulation.
Yeah.
So the way to recover from that is to take things that help heal the gut, so reduce the inflammation and increase the levels of the good microbiome in the gut. So things like polyphenol-rich foods and polyphenol-rich supplements are very good for getting the microbiome in state so the inflammation goes down and the gut heals itself. Also, vitamin D is very good for healing the gut too.
Oh.
Yeah. So those things, glutamine is very good too.
Yeah. Very good, Steve.
Yeah. So there's three things you can do.
And you'll be interested to know that I'm staying very quiet on these podcast, people, because we're letting our qualified naturopath answer these questions. So thank you for that question. And please, guys, keep coming them in. We've got one more from another listener. Hey, guys, can we get a podcast on sleep? I think a lot of people would benefit from this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sleep is an interesting one. And I talked to our sound guy, Matt. We talk about sleep a fair bit. And we talked the other day.
You talk about sleeping together?
Oh, jeez.
That's interesting.
Absolutely.
That's good.
So sleep is interesting because it's not the state of non-consciousness like a lot of people think. There's all these different phases. There's REMs, the 1, 2, 3, 4 phases. So it's really complex. And about every 90 minutes, you go into a deep sleep and then a shallow sleep, deep sleep, shallow sleep. And then towards the end of your sleep becomes pretty much mostly shallow into your REM stage sleep.
It's funny because when I'm sleeping, I always feel like I toss and turn a little bit at the beginning, like I did last night. It was bloody hot though.
Yeah, it was.
My gosh, it was hot. Yeah. And and then the alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm just like, I was in such a deep sleep when the alarm goes off. Whereas what's with that, Steve?
Well, you just forget. Sleep is the absence of memory too. And so, you just forget how deep you've been into a sleep and all that sort of thing. Now, if you're in a deep sleep early in the morning, then you probably didn't have a deep sleep early in the night.
No, you're probably right. And it's funny, though. Sometimes I'll wake up just before the alarm goes off.
Yep.
What's with that?
Because you should be in a shallow stage of sleep towards the end of your sleep.
Right.
If you look at the classic healthy, and you can Google photos on this about what a healthy sleep is, you see you get really deep in the early part of the night. That's what you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Most people aren't.
So these waves, Steve, like do they go like and for those of you that are watching on YouTube, you've got the benefit of me drawing some symbols in there, but effectively you go like down, like almost like a slide, and then you come up a little bit, but you don't come back up to consciousness.
Correct.
But then from that point, you go down a little bit deeper.
No, it's the other way around. You can start off really deep.
Yeah, start off really deep,
and then you get shallower as.
Really?
Yeah, it's very simple.
So you come down deep and then shallower. Okay, which is the importance, obviously, before of habits, Steve. I've heard. Can you please qualify with your lovely professional?
Okay.
Interlude.
So
that you shouldn't be watching TV before going to bed.
That's
you
right.
should avoid bright lights and things like that. Effectively, candlelight, maybe a little bit of reading. You shouldn't have obviously any caffeine or any stimulants, and try and get those out of your system as well too. Right? There's a lot of things that we actually do wrong all the time.
Yeah. It's called sleep hygiene, and
sleep hygiene.
Yeah, that's what they term it.
Yeah, right.
It's about how to get a good quality sleep, because people think sleep is the absence of consciousness. Just falling
you could
asleep.
take a drug.
Yeah.
And you could knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But you could have a crap sleep, right?
And I talked about drinking alcohol. How people go, I drink alcohol and that knocks me out. It's
a nightcap, I think they call it, Steve. And prescribed by my doctor.
If you have too much alcohol, it stops that deep sleep.
Right, so no growth hormone?
Correct. And you wake up feeling awful.
Yeah. Groggy.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you drink grog and you wake up feeling groggy and then you go and have a grog bog.
Yeah. And people.
But I wonder if we're American. Actually.
Grog bog. Do we need to explain
Here
that?
we go. Australian vernacular.
No, that's
So we've got our bush pig.
Yep.
We've got our bevan.
Yep.
What was the other one? Mole.
Oh, yeah.
Was it a mole?
Yeah.
Now we've got grog bog.
Oh.
So for everyone who understands what a grog bog is, Steve,
Yeah,
you would have said that growing up.
I have said grog bog growing up. Not enough in my life. Actually,
Americans probably don't know what a grog bog is.
Can they guess what it is? Or
I think they probably, but could you explain it?
All right. Well, when you go on the grog, which is another Australian word, is it? Grog?
Yeah, I think it is.
No. Anyway, that's alcohol.
And anything with O on the end of it. Bottle-O.
Bottle-O.
Yeah.
Steve-O.
Steve-O. Jeff-O.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He's very Australian.
Yeah.
So if
it's like a term of endearment. Yeah.
If you have a lot to drink, the next morning you're very dehydrated and you're very, if you have too much to drink, then it changes your bowel habits for the next morning and you have a grog bog in the morning, which is a term for an interesting turd.
Yeah.
Yeah. How else we put it?
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it becomes unusual.
Unusual how?
Oh.
Bigger.
Harder.
Because dehydration.
Yeah, you dehydrate.
And like all your gut.
Yeah.
The stuff that colours your poo.
Yeah. Is awful because it does. Remember
pigmentation.
Alcohol? Yeah, because the pigmentation comes from your liver.
Yeah.
And so your liver is affected with alcohol.
Of course, because it's working to detoxify, right?
And so it doesn't help with your stool very much. Yeah. So it makes your stool very interesting. So your liver's distracted all night from drinking. You're trying to get rid of your alcohol.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yes, it's going, oh no, this and also it causes mild gastritis when you drink too.
Yep.
So that causes all sorts of problems too.
Yeah.
With your grog bog.
There you go. So there you go. Another Australian terminology for our American and English friends.
Never thought I'd
England is far more closer to Australia. I think they'd probably know us quite well. But Americans, I think we're still a bit of an enigma.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much we will do one. In fact, I've been looking at doing a podcast on sleep with a sleep expert. I've reached out to somebody actually to have a chat to them maybe about bringing on a guest to talk about sleep. But anyway, thanks for your questions, guys. Please keep them coming in. Please, if we've read out your question and you know that it's you, please contact our team on our live on our website or send to info@atpscience.com. Yep. Thanks, guys. Steve,
what a fun day this was.
Well, this was a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it?
Yep. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back next week with some more.
See you next week.